Unit 16. Part 1.
What languages can you speak?
Other than Korean and English, I can't speak any other languages. Even though I learned a bit of German in the past, I can't speak it anymore. I forgot most of the vocabulary I once knew because it's been so long.
When and how did you learn English?
I first learned English when I was a kid in elementary school. Our teacher taught English to us in a very fun way. For example, I learned new vocabulary through singing songs and playing games. English classes became more boring as I grew up, but I really liked learning English when I was young.
What languages, other than English, do you want to learn? Why?
I really want to become fluent in Mandarin Chinese. Knowing how to speak Chinese well can really open doors in today's job market. Since a lot of Korean companies trade with Chinese businesses these days, they often look for applicants who are proficient in the language.
Which do you think is more difficult, speaking English or reading English?
I think speaking English is more difficult than reading English text. The reason for this is that reading only requires knowledge of grammar and vocabulary. On the other hand, to be able to speak, a person needs to know and correctly pronounce the words as well.
Do you think handwriting is important?
Not at all. In my opinion, penmanship is a largely irrelevant skill in today's world. Typing on a computer is much faster and easier for most people. Although it could be useful when writing cards and letters, I don't think it is important for people's everyday lives.
Which one do you prefer, handwriting or typing?
Like most other people, I like typing way more than writing by hand. Since I rarely handwrite anything these days, holding a pen feels a little awkward and uncomfortable. Besides, I type much faster than I write, so typing is more efficient for me.
When do you write things by hand?
I normally write letters and fill out forms at banks and government offices by hand. For me, writing letters is very personal, so typing them doesn't feel right to me. Additionally, I always handwrite messages in the birthday cards I give to my friends and family.
Do you think we will use handwriting in the future as much as we use it now?
I'm pretty certain that handwriting will be used a lot less frequently in the coming years. Even though cards and letters will still be written by hand in the future, most people will prefer typing because it is so much more efficient. Moreover, I suspect that even signatures might be replaced with something else as technology continues to advance.
Part 2.
I first spoke a foreign language when I was in high school. Even though it has been a while, I still remember that day clearly. My friends and I were walking down the street when a foreign man suddenly stopped us. He asked for directions to City Hall in English. I gave him a detailed explanation of how to get there. Then he told us that he was visiting Korea and asked if there was anything he should do. That was a difficult question because I'd never thought about it before. However, after a bit of thinking, I told him to visit Insadong because there are lots of souvenirs and traditional shops there. He thanked us and then headed to his destination. Initially, I was nervous about answering his questions since I wasn't good at English. I thought it would be a struggle to think of the right words, but after I helped him, I felt really proud of myself. Plus, I felt more motivated to study English.
Part 3. Do you think it's important to learn foreign languages?
I definitely think that learning foreign languages is important in today's world. This is because most business today has an international component. Companies not only buy and sell goods in different countries, but they also have offices in them. As a result, most companies prefer to hire multilingual people who can communicate accordingly. So, to get the job that you want, learning a foreign language could be quite crucial.
When is the best time for children to learn foreign languages?
I know that many people have different opinions about this, but I'd say the ideal time to learn another language is in early childhood, at around 6 years old. This is because younger children tend to learn second languages in the same way they learn their native languages. To be specific, they practice and experiment without worrying about making grammar or pronunciation mistakes. They simply use the language without thinking about it. Therefore, if they learn a foreign language early, they will be able to speak that language like a native speaker without much effort.
Part 2.
A conversation that I enjoyed recently is the one I had with my nephew. He's 7 years old and currently in kindergarten, but he'll be starting primary school in a few months. He's a great kid, but quite a handful sometimes. Last weekend, my sister and her husband were planning to celebrate their wedding anniversary with a short trip, but didn't have anyone to watch him. So, I volunteered to help them out and take care of him while they were away. When I got to their house, he wouldn't stop talking about a girl in his class. He said that he had a crush on her, but didn't know how to talk to her. He asked for my advice, and I told him that girls like brave guys, and that he should just approach her and tell her how he felt. I was really amused by the conversation. I'd never heard about the romantic troubles of a child before, so it was quite cute. Now, I'm just curious what happened, since he hasn't given me an update yet. I hope that he talked to her and that everything went well.
Part 3.
Why do people get nervous before they give a presentation?
I think most people become tense before presentations because they worry what their audience will think. Most people do not address large groups in their everyday lives. They usually have conversations on a one-on-one basis or with a few other individuals. Therefore, speaking in front of a crowd is an unusual experience. Furthermore, most presentations are given to groups of clients, colleagues, or supervisors. This can make them very important for the presenter's career, which leads to increased nervousness.
What are the differences between men and women when it comes to having a conversation?
I know that people have a lot of different opinions about this, but the main conversational difference between the genders seems to be how thoughts and feelings are expressed. On the one hand, men tend to be quite direct and unsentimental. They act as though conversations have an overall purpose and get directly to the point. Women, on the other hand, seem to incorporate more emotions into how they communicate. Their conversations often have more than one purpose and cover a range of ideas and feelings.
Unit 16.